Yo, what is up guys? If you guys are here, then you guys obviously have played SSF2, or maybe you're even new to SSF2 and you're wondering which character you want to pick up, or hey, maybe you might not know what SSF2 is at all. Well, if you don't know what SSF2 is, it is a Super Smash Bros. Fan game that was made and has been out for years, and they obviously have had multiple updates over these years, and the most recent update actually came out a few days before I was actually originally planning to upload this video, so my tier list has now officially changed a lot. But yeah, so the newest version, 1.3.1.1, is officially out. A bunch of changes were made, and if you guys are really looking to get back into SF2, or you guys are looking to get into SF2 for the first time, or even, hey, you just want to see how the meta has evolved over time, in this video I'm going to be explaining that for you guys. Now, I'm going to be separating this into tiers. We're going to have D tier, C tier, B tier, A tier, then we're obviously going to have an A plus tier, just for those characters that have those slight differences, and then we're going to have an S tier. Quickly, up on screen before we get started with anything, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the previous tier list was, essentially, for the game ahead of time, because you guys are going to be looking at the newest patch that came out a few days ago, and a lot of things have changed since then. So, bam, up on screen, you guys are going to be seeing the old tier list, essentially. This was overall the community widespread tier list of what everything was looking like, how characters were playing out, really. And, you know, a couple of characters on here might be a little bit different in between players, because top level play and, you know, average to mid and high level play are going to be a lot different. Obviously in this tier list, I try to come through and bring the community on what they feel like is a representable tier list. So there might be a couple of picks every here and there where some pros or some people who are really good at the game might not agree with, but overall for the community, all of this was correct for the previous patch, and it will be the same for this patch coming up. So, I don't want to waste any more time. We've already been talking for almost a minute. Let's go on ahead and hop right on into the brand new tier list for version 1.3.1. And before we go ahead and do that, guys, I also just want to go ahead and quickly say, remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep doing tier lists for new versions of SF2 that comes out. I'm also hoping to do it for Super Smash Bros. Crusade, as well as maybe even for Ultimate, whenever that final DLC character comes out. So, if you guys really like these videos, go on ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1K, and it will mean the world to me if you guys do that. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on ahead, hop right on into the complete and utter brand new tier list video. So, moving right along, we're going to go ahead here and start out with the D tier, and we're going to be starting off with, you know, a little bit of surprise for some people, a little bit of other surprise for other people. But we're actually going to be starting out with Tails. Now, Tails currently, I believe, is the worst character in the game. A lot of other people also think of this, and I'm going to be giving you guys some reasons why. So, Tails, his neutral is actually decent. It's not the worst in the game. It's not the best in the game, but it's definitely not the worst it could possibly be, even though he is technically the worst character in the game. Where he sucks at is really just what his kill options are, what his moves overall do. He has a bad projectile, and his combos are a little bit lackluster. They're more bursty and a little bit more options. Tails actually used to be a top tier character, probably for some people was actually the best in the game, but nerfs came through and they just do not give him what he needs. He lacks range on a lot of his things. His kill options are very limited. Like I said before, his projectile is really slow, but it only hits once. It's not a multi-hitting move, and it acts like it really should. And in the air, you can only shoot it at a diagonal angle, so that actually cuts off your usability and skill that you could use potentially to actually hit with it. Now, obviously, one thing I do want to go ahead and make sure everyone knows is that I believe the lowest tier in this game is D, and Tails is on that level because every character in this game has some usability, even Tails, even though he is technically the worst in the game. He does have usability, he does have good things. His down air is really, really good. His nair comes out really fast. He does have decent back air, because while it's not great as actually using for a back air, you can actually hit with it from a forward angle, which really changes up his play style. And he's a versatile character. He just doesn't excel well in this game, and he has a lot of options that need to be changed for him to be a top tier character. But yeah, definitely going ahead and giving Tails that last spot. Moving on from that, we're going to be moving into Sandbag. Now, Sandbag is a kind of a different experience. Sandbag is a character that has actually a lot of good stuff about him, but the areas that he's weak in make him one of the worst characters. In my personal opinion, I believe you could switch Tails and Sandbag out respectively, but overall I would say definitely Sandbag has better aerials and smash attacks. So let's go ahead and just get into some of the positives of Sandbag before I do it. So he has really good aerials in my opinion, even though they are a little bit laggy. They hit at really good angles, they hit really like really good trajectories as well, so you can always just aim them perfectly to be safe on, you know, safe on shield occasionally. You can use them as really great combo tools, and you just have a couple of other things that obviously you know, you could use to your advantage while using them. And his smash attacks are straightforward, they're really powerful, they kill at really good percentages, and overall I would say he's decent in that regard. But when it comes to things that he's trash at, his recovery is straight up awful. He has to hit himself with a bomb, which, while it does sometimes feel controllable, a lot of the time is not controllable, and it's really just left up to chance whether or not he's actually going to be able to come back to stage. His grab, yet again, lacks range, so if you just outrange him, he cannot grab you, and his tilts are not really great at all. They just really are bad. And then his dash attack, while yes, you can technically use it as a kill option, and it does kill, it is extremely laggy and super easy to punish, and it's just awful. But I think one of the biggest things besides his recovery that makes him honestly just be this low on the tier list is just straight up the fact of he cannot grab the ledge. This character physically is hard-coded into the game with the ability to not grab a ledge. He doesn't have arms, so he cannot grab the ledge. And while in this game, grabbing the ledge is not crucial to neutral, it's not crucial to doing other things, it can, you know, obviously help you get back to stage, it can help you obviously go into advantage, you can use it as ways for mix-ups. It's just things that, you know, you need technically to improve your recovery, and he just doesn't have it at all. And so just instantly losing that ability with a terrible recovery, you throw this man off stage and you hit him like one time and he's done. Like, there's nothing you could do against every single character. So yeah, unfortunately Sandbag is just not it, but he is going to be leading out the D tier, and those are going to be the only two characters in the D tier, and then from here on out we're going to be moving on to other characters and other tiers. So moving right along, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys see, bam, here is the C tier list. So for the C tier in this tier list, we're going to be starting off with Ganon. Now Ganon is the worst character in the C tier, obviously, because, well, he's Ganon. He kind of sucks at everything and doesn't excel in a lot, but what he does excel in, he does pretty decently well. So first off, he is a heavy, so, you know, he does have that longevity of living. You know, he doesn't get killed as easy. He does have his weight to actually help him out. He actually, you know, has really good range with his smash attacks, being able to cover huge amounts of the field, as well as also just having actually a decent combo game. It's not the best in the game, but it actually is there, and he still has that to his benefit. But after that, I mean, this man is just lacking. He's really slow, which is unfortunate, you know, so, you know, a lot of the characters, especially the S tier characters, dominate and destroy this man. He's just not going to be able to do well against fast characters or characters with reach. His recovery is awful, super predictable, easy to gimp. It's just, it doesn't work out too well for Ganon in this game, and yeah, he's definitely going to just be the bottom of C tier. Moving on ahead of that, I want to go ahead and just talk about Goku. Goku is actually, yet again, just slightly better Ganon in my opinion. He's medium weight and he's faster than Ganon, but he essentially has the same exact problems as Ganon. His recovery is really bad, and his combo game is a little bit lackluster. He does have some decent kill options, even being able to use an uncharged Kamehameha in neutral, be able to kill super early. But he's just not it, bro. His recovery is awful. Even though you do vanish with it, it goes nowhere vertically, so if you get knocked down to a weird angle or you even slightly misposition it, you just won't grab the ledge and you'll die. He does have a projectile, which he has two projectiles technically, with Kamehameha and his side B, but, you know, his neutral is very picky. His launch angles are not great, and a lot of his moves, while they are good, they come out way too fast sometimes for you to whiff pretty often. You'll whiff moves a lot, especially like Fair or even sometimes Dare, because of just the end lag and a little bit of startup it has on it. It's just insane. So yeah, Goku, and then with also Kaioken hurting him, it makes it just even easier for you to kill him. So yeah, Goku is just not a great character in this game. It is just awful, just straight up awful. So now I'm going to be moving on to Kirby and Jigglypuff. I'm going to get into two of them. I'm going to talk about the little bit of differences, but they have a lot in common in the C tier. So, I want to start with Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff and Kirby both have the floatiness aspect to them, which is great. It makes recovering with them super easy. They have both of those type of, easeable mix-up type options to do while in the air. Their airspeed obviously isn't great, but their kill power and combos, are slightly there, but could be a bunch better. But where Jigglypuff, in turn, is worse than Kirby at is really the fact that Jigglypuff has no projectiles. And while I won't say that every single character in this game needs a projectile to be the best, Jigglypuff barely has any range. Honestly, the combos that you could do with him, while nice, are definitely left to be desired. You're going to be relying on rest a lot to get kills, because other than that, you have like F smash and maybe down smash if you hit it at ledge. And he lacks the kill options that Kirby has, but Kirby doesn't really honestly have too many more kill options than Jigglypuff, to be honest, because he has a charged side B, but that's really hard to pull off because it's super laggy. You can land down B with Kirby, and that's really well at killing, but other than that, I mean, you have to think of both of these characters as just being lackluster floaty characters that are super and extremely light in weight. So they get hit like with one small combo, boom, you're dead. Like you can't hold it out. So just Jigglypuff and Kirby are they leave so much to be desired, but definitely aren't the worst characters you could play in the game. But yeah, Jigglypuff without having a projectile is definitely worse than Kirby. Kirby does have a projectile with his up B, as well as also just, obviously some different spacings and different things he can use with his swallowing gimmick. So yeah, Kirby has a little bit more viability to him than Jigglypuff, but overall I would say they're about the same, and for some people you might even be able to switch the two places, but yeah, those two are definitely lackluster and definitely kind of deserve to be like right next to each other in the tier. After that, we're going to have Pichu. Pichu excels at having a really great combo game, as well as also having a decent recovery. Not bad at all. He's really fast and really hard to hit because of how small he is, which is all of the positives you get from him. After that is definitely the negatives. It can be a little bit hard at times to kill with Pichu, especially since he got nerfed a couple of times. And while I can say that giving him a brand new up B in this game, where if he gets above 80%, I believe it's like 80 or 100, he gets a completely new up B with discharge. It's super good, but the problem with it is he hurts himself so much. He racks up damage extremely fast on himself in this game, and to be able to even get combos or things like that, it's just he needs to get those electric moves, and those just do damage to him. And when you rack up damage on a small, really light character against a lot of the top tiers or high tiers in this game, you get comboed once you're dead, and that's really the problem. And the only reason why he's above Jigglypuff and Kirby is because of how fast he is and how versatile he can be with his projectiles, as well as his other combo tools and options. So Pichu, not a bad character to pick up, but definitely is on the lower side of the tier list. And then after that, we're going to be having the highest person in the C tier, and that's going to go ahead and be Pit. Pit excels at essentially everything Pichu does, but just better. He has better combos, better ground game, a really good projectile that he can use to just zone out people. He has a reflector as well, so other people with projectiles, he can send it back at them if he so chooses. Yet again, just like everything about Pit is really good. And honestly, I would have said he was a mid-tier character, or a B-tier character, or an A-tier character potentially, if he just had one thing, and that's the ability to kill. The one problem with Pit, besides his recovery, which I'm going to get to after this, but because this is a little bit bigger, is his kill potential. His combos are great, and everyone says, oh, Pit could do this, Pit could do that. He could do different combo chains off of a grab or whatever. And since grabs in the newest version have been completely just nerfed and kind of a little bit toned down, a lot of his stuff is just kind of gone for me personally, and a lot of the time also his kill power is just not there. You can land side B, which is supposed to really be a kill option. It doesn't kill till like almost 200%. You'll be landing up airs that doesn't kill to like mid 100%. Like you'll be landing fair into like F smash, and counting on how they DI and what the character is, they could just live it. It's just this character and killing is so hard. It's like it's so easy to get combos and everything else with this character, but killing with this character is a struggle, man. You really have to work and just keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them and hitting them to get kills, even if you land smash attacks. And it's kind of insane, honestly. But yet again, so like he essentially excels at everything a mid-tier character would excel at, except for the fact he just cannot kill. But he still kills a lot earlier than all these characters that are underneath him, so he is still going to be at the top of C tier. And yeah, so that's going to be rounding out C tier. So yeah, so straight ahead, we're going to be moving on into B tier. These will be what I'd consider to be the mid-tier characters, really. Characters that really do well in certain aspects, but also still aren't high enough up there to be an A or A plus character. So yeah, so after that, we're going to be moving on into B tier. So for B tier, we're going to be moving on with Luffy as the worst character in B tier. Luffy has really great range. He has his combo game, you know, he excels at that, but he does have a terrible airspeed. You know, grabs are toned down, so a lot of the stuff that he was really good at once, you know, he's not going to be doing as much anymore. His hands also have a hurt box, which is the problems with him. So whenever you try to throw moves like side B, you know, if somebody just whips out like a tilt or something, you'll take damage, and you know you don't want to be having that in neutral, because you know you get hit once in neutral, and you know sometimes your opponent can just take over complete advantage. As well as also with some of his reach, he might whiff as well. And also just his recovery. His recovery is not great, even though he has two different ways to recover. But one of them is super, with his down B, is super predictable. Can really be edge guarded really easily by some of the top tier characters, as well as just A plus characters in the game. And he doesn't excel too well in that, but like I said before, he's still a really good character to pick up, still better than anyone underneath that. He does have his combo game still slightly. He has really great reach, so if you're looking for a character of reach, you know, you have that. And overall, his smash attacks as well as his tilts and aerials just aren't the worst in the game. It's just really that recovery, him being medium weight, and then also having the hurt box on his hands really just holds him back. After that, we're moving into Wario. Wario, I don't have too much to say about. This is going to be a little bit of a faster one. Wario, straightforward, is just a okay character. He's just medium. It's like Waft is obviously his best tool. Up air does not really kill as well as it does in other games. In this game, it's still usable, but it's definitely nowhere close to being like ultimate, or like even, I would say to some extent, Crusade up air. It's not what it once was, but he does still have combo game. He still does have other options that he can use. He has a decentish side B as well as his grab, obviously, you know, being able to munch on people and get a little bit of health back and then throw them. It's really, really cool. So, you know, he's an alright character. I would say his worst thing about him probably would be his recovery, as well as also the fact that some of his moves just, they don't clash very well. They're super easy to get through. And they don't have a lot of intangibility, but you know, he could be worse. He could be worse, but definitely he's better than Luffy. But I wouldn't count him to be better than any of these other characters. So moving on from that, we're going to be talking about DK. Now, DK is a crazy example of what the most recent patch has done to a character. DK, if you look at my old tier list compared to now, has heavily, and I mean heavily, fallen. I believe before he was like an A or A plus character. I'm pretty sure it was A character. But he's fallen. Man, they nerfed this character. He doesn't have his fair anymore. His nair is worse. They made up air worse on this character. I mean, shoot. And then they now made it where his dash attack, he rolls off the ledge, which some people would be like, oh, that's a buff, so now he can continue a combo chain. But with how bad DK's recovery naturally is, with no vertical spacing or anything like that, it's super easy to punish. As well as also just having grabs, which this is DK we're talking about. So grabs were like crucial for this character. To be completely just nerfed this patch is insane. So yeah, this character is definitely fallen from grace, but where he excels at is he is a heavy character. And while yeah, he did get nerfed, his combo game is still alright. It's not the worst in the game, but man, he's just a huge target who's slow, who's just gonna get the crap beaten out of him with not great recovery options, as well as also just a crazy amount of nerfs. So yeah, definitely is gonna be a B tier character. He could even fall down worse, honestly, in some other people's opinions, but definitely for right now, this is where I'm gonna be seeing him. Moving on from that, we're going to be talking about Lucario. Lucario is a little bit of a special example. Lucario doesn't exactly excel in anything, and he doesn't exactly do well at anything. He's kind of the straightforward mid-tier character. Does have a decent recovery. Obviously, at really high percents, he has easy kill options, but I feel like a lot of where Lucario excels at is going to be reading your opponent, as well as also just straight up being better than your opponent. If you can outplay your opponent really well with Lucario, especially if you let them just rack up a couple of damage on you, get that aura high, you know, you could do a lot with Lucario. With his brand new grab animation, he makes him even better, but to be honest, your opponent has to be bad. A lot of Lucario's moves have a lot of lag on them, and you know, if you whiff like even a certain few moves, you know, you could just get destroyed. Like whiffing side B could, you know, be crucial to, you know, whether or not you end up losing your stock or not. So yeah, it's really heavily dependent on your opponent if they're going to be better than you or not, whether you play Lucario, and that's why I say Lucario is a B-tier character. It doesn't excel at anything, doesn't really de-sell at anything. It's just, you know, you have to be better than your opponent to play Lucario, because if your opponent just naturally is able to read you, you're going to be having a hard time just playing the character at all. And while I can definitely agree he's better than Luffy, Wario, and DK, I cannot say he's any better than any of the characters that are above him. So yeah, moving on from that, we're going to be talking about Chibi Robo. Now, Chibi Robo is kind of an interesting case, to be honest, because Chibi Robo has a crazy amount of range. Like, I believe he has about the same or even, like, slightly less range than Luffy in certain moves. And his combo game is a little bit better, as well as his recovery. His recovery is a lot better. So he essentially is just the better Luffy to play, as well as he also having a really fast projectile. But overall, I feel like where he sucks at is just getting those kill options, because he does have a lot of disjointed hitboxes, which you'll be like, okay, you know, disjointed hitboxes, really great, really work out well for the character, but also just the way how you have to hit them is just really weird. And then also he does have a little bit of end lag on a couple of his moves, as well as also some like really weird startup frames. But he did get a new idle animation, as well as I believe a new grab animation and the newest patch update, so he's definitely going to be up there still. A really good character that you want to pick up occasionally, but overall I would just say, you know, while picking up Chibi Robo is great and he does have his options, these other characters above him are definitely going to be better to pick. After that, we're going to be talking about Pikachu. Pikachu is a special case in this game because Pikachu essentially does everything that you wouldn't expect Pikachu to do. In this game, Pikachu plays more like a heavy character, or even a medium, like a lower to like heavier medium character in this game compared to like a super light and fast character like he plays like in Ultimate and even in Crusade. So to play Pikachu is a little bit weird. He's a lot slower than you'd think. He still has his combo game, obviously still has that, with also a really good recovery, and also being medium in weight isn't going to be the worst thing in the world when it comes to this game. But man, dude, like his projectile in this game, his Thunder Jolt is just, it's not as great as it was. It has a little bit of startup, and honestly if you whiff it, it's like you can get punished if you try to go for a combo after it. So honestly, using it in neutral isn't the greatest option to do on this character, which is definitely something that shouldn't be a part of Pikachu. I mean, it should be a part of Pikachu. It's like you should be able to use Thunder Jolt in neutral and have that be safe, but honestly, like sometimes in this game, I feel like you use it, it's just not as great as you think it would be. As well as also, you know, landing Thunder. Landing Thunder is heavily based on reads. Like Thunder in this game is not as great as it seems. It's great when you hit it fully, like when you hit yourself and you hit your opponent, but if you miss, it's just kind of like, like you can get punished, or you can obviously cut your opponent off, or they're gonna have to try to zone you. But Pikachu is just he's just like he just doesn't feel as great as I think he really should feel in this game. Honestly, to be a B tier, a straight up mid tier character is wow for this character, especially since he's like so top tier in like most other games. So yeah, really weird for Pikachu, but definitely is going to end up being like on the lower end of B tier. After that, we're going to talk about Rayman as well as Ness. So with Rayman has really good neutral in range. Like whenever you outrange your opponent with Rayman, it's really good. And I think this is slightly the similar thing with Ness. It's with Ness, if you can get your opponent hit with a PK fire, the same way you can get like you know, with Rayman you can hit them with side B. You know, it's really great. So, you know, with Rayman, it's like, okay, you know, I'll hit him a side B, I'll get a command grab, you know, I can get my, you know, down air spike, whatever, or meteor. feel good about it or whatever. But problem with Rayman is just recovery. It's like, while Plum is an interesting recovery factor, if you slightly mess up a Plum, you're dead. If your opponent launches Plum at you, that's a kill option for them. If you whiff some of your moves, it's just you're getting punished. And like, I know like normally you'd be like, oh, of course if you whiff a move, you're gonna get punished. Not every, because a lot of Rayman's moves are not as safe on shield as you think they would be. They should be safer on shield, honestly, but they're just not. He's a little bit slow. He's also a floaty character, and there's a lot of stuff you have to play with Rayman. People say he has stuff that he can do and things that you want to use, but when it comes down to fighting an opponent, whether or not they're going to know the matchup, whether or not they're going to be better with that character than Rayman is just straight up like the middle of B tier. And I can kind of say the same thing for Ness. Ness, it's very well, you have a lot of projectiles to your advantage. You also have a lot of really good aerials that you can use to your advantage. Obviously, they come out really fast, they hit really well, launch at good angles, they do a lot of damage. But his recovery is like Rayman's. It's awful. It's Thunder Jolt. It's not great to use as a projectile really on land. If you try to hit yourself with it, you can potentially grab a kill, but when you try to use it off stage, just people run into it, they'll shoot a projectile at it, it's gone. They run into it, it's gone. And it's just his recovery definitely holds him back. Also, not being able to do like float cancels and things like that with down B really takes away stuff that you could have with Ness as a character, and just it definitely like shows that he just is lacking. In my personal opinion, I kind of believe Ness to be like a slightly better Pikachu in my opinion. But overall, most players are definitely going to say Ness is a B tier character, and definitely leaves some stuff to be desired. So after that, we're going to be moving on to Zelda. Zelda is kind of in this weird tier where she has a lot of really good aerials, a lot of really good tilts, a lot of really good smash attacks, but she does have a lot of lag on her. You do have to be really well with spacing. Her recovery is good, but it doesn't do as much as it does in other games, so it's like that's a little bit lackluster. And she's still definitely worth picking because you can obviously just use down B. You can switch to one of the best characters, if not the best character in the game, which we're going to talk about later. So it's insane what Zelda has and what you could do with the character, but it does take a little bit more setup, a little bit more spacing, and a lot of other things to be good with, as well as also obviously having some occasionally laggy aerials. Doesn't exactly help the character out to the greatest extent, but she does have everything that a mid-tier character should definitely have. So definitely going to be a B-tier character, but yeah, pretty good. After that, we're going to move on to Luigi, and this was kind of close. If you guys look at the last tier list, I actually moved Bomberman above Luigi. We're going to be talking about Bomberman in a second, but Luigi has a lot of good stuff going for him. Him and Mario realistically used to be right side by side, because like I would say Mario was better than Luigi because he definitely had better recovery options than Luigi, but Luigi still has really good combos. He's a really solid character overall, decent weight, has really decent neutral, has pretty good advantage, I would say, but the things that really hold the character back from being the best that he possibly could be is just in the most recent patch they nerfed his up B, so that's going to be nerfing one of your greatest kill options besides maybe like F smash, or even maybe a quick down smash or something along those lines, or even a grab. But so with that nerf of up B being where it doesn't kill as early, it was huge. That was a huge part of Luigi's neutral and his kill options, and they took that away kind of, so it was a little bit worse. And so I definitely have some things about that. Also with grabs being nerfed as well, being a really good option for Luigi to use, being nerfed is just not great. He did get a new running turnaround animation, which is cool, but they're also, I'm pretty sure, a lot worse than his older animations used to be. So his viability as a character is still a really great character, still a decent mid-tier to pick up, but definitely is in my opinion, a weaker Mario. Definitely is way better to use just Mario. Moving on above him, we're going to be moving on to Bomberman. Now, Bomberman is an interesting case. Bomberman is a very setup-heavy character. Has really good aerials, really good launch angles, really good, decent combos you can use with him, but you do need to be able to set up bombs to be able to get the full potential of Bomberman. If you learn how to get the setup, hold your opponent back, be able to get perfect spacing, and actually be able to work really well with Bomberman and what his options are, especially with his edge guarding, and how versatile his bombs can be during that time, it's actually insane. Plus, they also just recently buffed his detonation time to where it's a little bit more frame perfect, which is just super great. And he just has a lot of stuff going for him. including the decent recovery. It's gimpable, yes, but it also does have a hitbox on it, so you can actually use it as a combo option. Maybe even, you know, pick out a kill at really high percents, maybe off the top or something like that. So it's insane. It's insane. Bomberman has a lot of stuff going for him. Not too many negatives, besides the fact that, yet again, you do have to be kind of good with the character. You do have to have that setup to be able to use him to his fullest potential. But yeah, that's probably like the worst thing about Bomberman. But definitely, he's not a bad character. It's definitely a B tier character. Moving on from that, we're going to have Mario. I'm not going to talk too much about Mario because Mario essentially excels at everything the same thing as Luigi excels at, except for the fact that he just straight up has a better recovery, as well as also, in my personal opinion, I think that Mario down B is just way better than Luigi's in this game, especially with it being a just better multi-hit move. It's way more versatile for combos and just allows for a lot more. So essentially excelling at everything Luigi excels at, which is better recovery. I would say the one thing he doesn't have is less kill options. He has a little bit less kill options to use, but he's definitely like one of the mid-tiers of the mid-tiers. I definitely think if this most recent patch didn't come out, he would probably be the mid-tier of the mid-tier, right alongside Luigi, but, you know, it is what it is. Mario's still a great character to pick up, amazing colors and everything else you pick with him, so yeah, definitely is worth picking up. Now, we're going to be moving on into Blackmage. Now, Blackmage is super interesting for this game. I mean, this man, his combos are crazy. Like, stuff people have done with him, whether it be dash attack combos, like finishing with dash attack, or if it be like his insane nair and how many, you know, just times you could do that over and over and over again, or even his charge up smash attacks that change. You know, you could use them all to your advantage in like super different ways, and with a super hard and unpredictable recovery. Blackmage he's a character that excels, but the only reason why he's not really a top tier character is just because a lot of his moves are slow. It takes some time, especially with this down air. It's really just a worth Marth down air in my opinion, even though, you know, you can leave a Grim Reaper and stuff with it. While, you know, some of his grabs are really decent, you know, since grabs just got nerfed, that's huge for the character. Like I said, nair is probably one of his best moves you can use in the game, which is great, but, you know, it's just, you know, how far is that going to get you? And overall, I just feel like if you're a good player or a better player, you will know how to outrange and do well against Blackmage. But definitely is still a tricky character, and doesn't particularly suck at anything. I would say his disadvantage is awful in that, you know, once you're getting hit, once you're getting comboed, you can't really do much out of that because, like I said before, his moves are slow. The fastest thing you have on you is probably going to be nair. So I would definitely say, you know, picking up Blackmage is definitely worth it. You're going to be able to do well, especially against a lot of new beginners to the game. Like, I just feel like Blackmage does really well against newer players, but once you get a, you know, a rundown of his moveset and what people could do with him, then it's just, he's a little bit easier to beat than a lot of these other higher tier characters. So yeah. Moving on, after that, we're going to be talking about the last character in B tier, and that's going to go ahead and be BandannaDee. My man BandannaDee is insane. Got a whole bunch of brand new animations in this most recent patch, which is crazy. And then also just an insane combo game. This man's combo game is lasting for days. I mean, this man has mix-ups, he has kill options. I mean, my man is just great, bro. Everything about BandannaDee is really solid. And it is just definitely, he excels at just more than the other characters in this tier, as well as also just having really good range. Like, he definitely doesn't lack range in anything. I think one of the biggest nerfs to him recently was his side B, because his side B's angle was changed slightly, and that's kind of a nerf, but even then you could still, like, you know, use it when you have to. You're not really going to be using it too much as a neutral tool, but you're going to be using it, you know, whether or not to, you know, edge guard and things like that. So I definitely see, you know, BandannaDee being crazy. He's insane, and the only reason why he's a B tier character is really just because, one, obviously him being floating and having multiple jumps, I believe he has like 3 or 4, is really great, but, you know, for top tier characters and high tier characters, you know, especially with characters that have spikes, you're not going to be doing too well. And then its actual up B has, like, well, it's really great in combos, it has no verticality at all, so actually recovering with it and trying to get back to stage with it is a little bit of a hassle unless you're essentially already above the stage, which is definitely going to, you know, take some time and take some stuff away from you. So yeah, definitely is a character you're going to have to work a little bit more when it comes to actually getting back on the stage. And then also the fact that BandannaDee is a light character. He essentially has the same problem as Jigglypuff and Kirby, but just a exceedingly better combo game. as well as also having a projectile. So yeah, he's just essentially like a really good version of Kirby. And yeah, it's definitely going to be leading out B tier. After that, we're going to be moving on into A tier. Now, A tier is going to be a little bit insane, honestly, not going to lie. It's going to be a little bit insane. But for A tier, we're going to be starting off with Megaman. Megaman, I feel like a lot of people have slept on and what he can do. I mean, this character is so versatile. He has so many projectiles, so many different things that he just has, like, just different options to do. And it's honestly insane what Megaman can do. Really, his only place where he like, just decels at is just realistically recovery, because it's a super capable recovery. It still goes really high in verticality, so you can use it to get back from really low, but if you're actually playing a good opponent, they'll just spike you and then you'll just be dead. So that's really where he sucks at. Also, his disadvantage is not great at all, and it is a little bit hard on the character unless you kind of spam Nair to reset neutral or anything with him. Besides Nair and lemons, you don't really have anything else to really get the opponent off of you, and you do have to kind of keep them out of range, but not like the worst. You still have close-up options you can use and different things you could do. So definitely is better than BandannaDee, especially with weight, but definitely is not going to be up there with the top of the top tiers. After that, we're going to have Bowser. Bowser fell down hard in this patch, and that was really just because they nerfed Grab. Grab was super crucial for Bowser as well. Not as crucial, I believe, as it was for DK, but without Grab, or a terrible dash grab is what he has now, it really slows the character down. You're not going to be doing as many combos as you really should be, but I definitely still think he's a great character. He's one of the heaviest characters in the game. I'm pretty sure he actually is the heaviest character in the game. He still has great aerials, still has great specials, a really good projectile to launch your opponents and get them off of you, as well as just also, keep good stage control and neutral. And his advantage is great. It's just really, his big problem is just he's huge. Obviously, he just nerfs grabs, and then, he just kind of is slow. But other than that, I mean, they also just recently buffed his up B on the ground, so you actually have a better out of shield option. Still not your best out of shield option, and isn't as good as it is in like melee or anything like that, but it's definitely a good character, and it's definitely worth putting your time into if you want to go ahead and main it heavy. Really recommend him. After that, we're going to be having Simon and Sora. I'm going to put these characters together because they kind of work very similarly, but in like a kind of a different way. So Simon is underneath Sora because Simon's combo game is insane. He has multiple projectiles he can use to keep the opponent out, and his reach is just insane. He has one of the best reaches in the game. I would definitely say Simon excels way better than Rayman at reach, and is just truly an insane character. Like, is honestly an insane character. But where he kind of sucks at is obviously having faster options in neutral. In neutral, you have to keep your range from people. If you do not do that, you're going to kind of get walled on. You're gonna get stomped. You're gonna be getting held back because he really doesn't have any super fast options that he can use in neutral at all. So it's like if people just rush you down and keep staying on you and dodge your projectiles and dodge the way you play, it's really hard with Simon, as well as also his recovery, because sometimes his recovery doesn't work as perfectly as you want it to. He doesn't always snap to ledge with his recovery, so getting back to stage, well, yeah, it does have a hitbox on the swing, which is great, so you can use it as a little bit of a surprise / missiles option to get back to the stage, as well as also having exceedingly good range. It's just, Simon leaves some stuff to be desired, but it's definitely still a really good character, and it's one of the best in the game, and also has a really good weight. So yeah, definitely is worth picking up. But where Sora comes into play, where you might be like, well, what do those two have in common, is the same thing with recovery. Sora has 2 moves to use for recovery, but the thing about it is they're like Simon's, where it's not the best way to come back. It still has, obviously where he can up B, and he has that floaty thing, and then you have the side B, and you can get a little bit of an angle with that, and you have a hitbox, but it's still super gimpable like Simon's, and it's still, not perfect to get back to ledge sometimes. Like sometimes he just doesn't grab the ledge, sometimes he just bang in the side of the stage and just die. You'll be like, okay, well that's cool. But where he excels at more than Simon is just combo game. He has way faster options, extremely good combos, and obviously with his menu, his down B options, you have so many different ways to deal with and stop your opponents, whether it be a kill option in neutral with the fire, you can keep your opponents back / obviously hold them in place to set you up for a combo with ice, and then hey, if your opponents jump in a lot and you need an anti-air, you can use Thunder, which is just super cool. And he just has so many options, and with decent weight and amazing combo game, it's just where he doesn't excel at is his just recovery. His recovery is super readable, and he has a lot of options. But he's definitely still a really good character, and honestly, is really worth to be picked up. After that, we're gonna be talking about Yoshi and Sonic. I'm gonna obviously put these two characters side by side, even though they work a little bit differently. Yoshi is a little bit more of a floaty character. He has really great combo games, and obviously he has one of the best grabs in the game. I mean, it's Yoshi, come on, with exceedingly good tilts as well. But where he kind of sucks at is he, like I said, he is a floaty character. Your recovery is going to be that double jump with the egg. An egg in this game is not the best projectile in the world. You do get a decent amount of vertical height with egg, more than I would say Yoshi is willingly, supposed to have. But I think Yoshi excels at a lot. It's just crucial that you get your grabs, you land your moves, and then you never use side B, because side B is like one of the worst moves in the game, and you will die for using it. So just don't use that move, and you'll be good. But Yoshi is definitely a high tier character, definitely is worth picking up and playing. He's super fun in this game, and has some really good moves like Nair. But where Sonic comes into it is he has kind of the same exact thing, except for he's just better. He excels at it more. He essentially has faster airspeed, faster ground speed. He has better spike, because I feel like it covers more area. A lot of other players will also tell you this, that just Sonic Spike in general counters a lot of areas as is. So that's really great. And he also he has reach, and he also has homing attack to be able to get in on your opponent, and you could use that multiple times with an exceedingly good recovery, and obviously having a medium weight. So nothing about Sonic really sucks, except for the fact that obviously once he's in disadvantage due to the fact that Sonic is a bit of a fast faller, is you just get punished, bro. And also it counts. I feel like his worst disadvantage and his worst matchups come with a lot of the top tier characters, which also is the reason why he's an A tier, as well as also zoners are super easy to just keep him out. But besides that, that's really his only problem. Other than that, Sonic's a really good, really fast, really good character to obviously be used. So yeah, definitely is worth picking up Sonic, and it is definitely a character you want to be playing. Moving on, after Sonic, we're going to be talking about Game & Watch. Game & Watch is just great. Everything about Game & Watch in this game is cool. He has combos. He lands moves really well. Nothing about him really sucks. He has a really good recovery. He has a projectile and everything else. Probably the only thing that's holding him back really is the fact of at times his range can be very minimal, depending on which moves you're using. And then also you do have to sort of rely on luck sometimes to be able to get kills, whether it be with 9s or whether it be with trying to land his up smash if you're too close, or if you landed on shield or not. And just a lot of other things. Also, not having a lot of the tools that he has in Ultimate, and playing a little bit more like he plays in Melee and Brawl, instantly is going to make this character be a lower tier than really he is since his new changes. But definitely still a great character. Definitely some of the best players in the world use Game & Watch and excel with him. So definitely a character worth picking up, and it is easily one of the best characters in the game. But yet again, with his low airspeed and the problems that I said earlier, with sometimes relying on luck to try to get that final kill, or even for just sauce reasons, he's going to be a little bit lower on the tier list. Also, I feel like he has less confirms than a lot of the characters above him. So after that, we're going to talk about Samus. Samus is a really, really, really good character. Samus is she has to be like the top of A tier. There's no way, right? So many projectiles going on. You have different recovery options, whether it be with your up B or even bomb drop type stuff. She could set up with down B. She could set up mines across the field to set up for combos. Waller grab yet again, while using your grab as an actual tether grab or whatever, in this game kind of isn't, worth it, and using it on the ground is really slow. If you land it, you can get crazy amount of combos off of it. You have multiple different kill options with Samus. Samus is just a really good zoner in this game, one of the best, easily in the game, and just excels at a lot. And also having that, heavy weight is also going to be, crucial to how long the character lasts. So, really great stuff. What can I say really sucks about Samus is obviously characters that can spike, because once they spike, even with, bomb drop and other things that Samus can do, it's just, the character leaves some stuff to be desired, and then obviously you're still going to have to play the character pretty honestly and get your opponent to pretty high percents to get kills. It's not really as easy to get killed at lower percents with Samus as it is these other characters that are above it, so that's really the only reason why she's at the top of A tier, but it's definitely still a good character and it's definitely still worth picking up. After that, we're going to be talking about Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon has gotten buffs this last patch. Not too many big buffs, mostly it's just with his jab, but making his jab more consistent is really, really good, and is a really solid tool in neutral, especially just give random, surprises and mix-up options you could do on your opponent. But other than that, Falcon already has really good combos. He feels really nice in this game, has really good power, as well as with a decent weight. Yet again, most of the problems with Falcon come from the fact that a lot of the other things in this game, the fast fallers in the game already kind of are just awful when it comes to disadvantage. It's like once you get hit with Falcon, like it takes forever for you to be able to move again or act again, and that's really the problem, as well as also having pretty gimpable recovery. If he just had a better recovery, as well as obviously didn't have such a bad disadvantage, he would be one of the best characters in the game. I really do. I feel like not enough people give Falcon love. Also, not having a projectile also weighs that down, so him not having a projectile just makes him slightly worse. But yeah, definitely still a character worth picking up and looking into. After that, we're going to talk about Walu. Walu's really good, has really solid kills. He has multiple different types of spikes. He has a sweet spot with his up B, decent neutral, and a lot of other things you could do. And you can even set up with plant, which is really, really cool as well. And also having a medium weight is really, really good for Walu as well. And then a huge nair, just a huge nair. It's really great. But things that suck with Walu right now is really the fact that just grabs got nerfed, as well as also relying yet again on luck with neutral B. If you're going to be trying that, using that, because you might be able to rack up a lot of damage with it, but you could also just get a 1. So it really counts on how you use the character and whether or not that's going to depend. I feel like yet again, the characters that are above him just excel more than him. He doesn't exactly he doesn't exactly suck at too much in this game. He's not one of the worst characters in the game, but he definitely is on the lower end, I believe, of the top tier characters. After that, we're going to talk about Pacman. Pacman, super good zoner, really good for setting up and getting combos with. I mean, this man is amazing. This man is amazing. He has such a good grab. Even after grabs got nerfed, such a good grab. Unfortunately, the end lag, if you whiff it, sucks. But, his combo game is amazing. His smash attacks are amazing. His tilts are amazing. I mean, what does this man suck at? What I'd honestly really say he sucks at is really just essentially the fact that he's on the little bit of the slower side, as well as also, yet again, you have to know what you're doing. If your opponent just plays better than you, which is another thing that I think a lot of these top tiers have problems with, is if you play one of the characters that are above him, or if you play a really good opponent, I just feel like Pacman kind of he kind of just isn't there. He's just not all what you want him to cracked up to be. Also, you're just gonna have to be patient and really know what you're doing with this character, because as soon as you know what you're doing with him, and you're not just spamming smash attacks or whatever, as soon as you're landing your combos, as soon as you're landing your grabs, you're getting your kills. He excels. He's amazing. But it's when he's at disadvantage, whenever you try to reset neutral and you're not using things like nair, or some of his other shorter options like down tilt, it's just all over the place, man. You're really going to be having to get a little bit of reach, but he's definitely he excels way better than any of the characters underneath him. After that, we're moving on to Llyod as well as Zero Suit Samus. So Llyod, super good, as really good projectiles, really amazing combo game, an amazing side B. I mean, this man is amazing at everything. Problems with Llyod: disadvantage and recovery. His recovery, not great at all. I mean, this man has no jumps, and then his up B sucks. I mean, you can't say much other than that. I mean, this man is amazing at so many things, but that recovery is just not it, Chief. It's just not it, bro. It's not it, bro. As well as also occasionally landing kills. It's not the hardest thing I want to do with Llyod, but definitely is something, that, you're going to have to look into. You're going to maybe have to spam a few options to be able to do, which, is a little bit unfortunate. After that, we're talking about Zero Suit. Zero Suit is super crazy. Combo game is insane. Yet again, specials are insane, and, it's really great advantage. Problem, if you whiff moves, which I know I've said this a lot, but if you whiff moves with Zero Suit, especially your grabs or your side B or really a lot of your specials, besides maybe neutral B. You're gonna be left in a little bit of a limbo. This is something that also comes up with a character that's later. Startup and end lag can be it's there, and then also kill options with Sheik as well as recovery. They're there, but you do have to work for it a little bit. This is definitely an honest character, one of the best in the game, but just an honest character you're really gonna have to work with. You can't just hit people and they die. You're gonna have to get your combos, you're gonna have to land certain things. You can't be missing your grabs if you try to go for them. You have to do everything really well, space really well, and she's just not as easy as a character to pick up and play as she is in Ultimate, or even in maybe even Brawl. Also, with recovery being tether recovery, it's not the greatest in the world. I do have to say that definitely is not something that you want to be relying on. Down B helps with that, but could be a lot better. But definitely still one of the top tier characters in the game. After that, we're going to talk about Issac. Issac has gone crazy nuts in this most recent patch. He got a bunch of new animations added, and even with the way how the animations have been changed on him, his moves just seem completely brand new. This man has great recovery, just a brand new back air, which is just so nice to have. His launch angles are great. When he actually lands a grab, you're not going to be getting as much coverage as you would be if you grab Mario or something, but you're definitely going to be being able to use that to your full potential. He has a really great side B that hits at range that you could use as pressure to use on shield, as well as just hit your opponents away from you. I mean, this man is just insane, bro. The new patch loved Issac. He went from being obviously a tier / high tier character to being probably a really high A+ character in the game. Just an amazing character. After that, we're going to talk about Peach. Peach has always excelled in this game. I think Peach is really good. Having float with a great recovery, an amazing combo game with a counter as well. It's just everything on Peach is really solid, really good. I think the worst things about Peach are simply the fact of if you obviously turnip isn't as great as it could be, and then also how much lag and how slow some of her moves can be at times isn't great. I wish Fair was a little bit faster. If Fair was slightly faster, Peach would be a top tier character, I swear. But definitely still a good character, has a lot going for her. Really great confirms off of grab, and she just excels. She just excels at just so much in this game, and overall just a great character with also some of the best colors in the game. After that, we're gonna talk about Ryu. Ryu's a really good character. I mean, Ryu's insane. Combos you could do with Ryu, insane. He has a really good projectile with the Hadouken. His Tatsus are really good, and obviously with the inputs, they make him even better. And you might be like, well, what does Ryu kind of bad at? Well, the only thing he's bad at is the fact that you do have to constantly have his inputs. He would be a really high tier character if you didn't constantly have to do the inputs to play him at top level. It's if you're even slightly miss your inputs in this game, you'll throw out just something you might not want to. And it's if he didn't have inputs and you could just do easier things that you could do more consistently with Ryu, he would just be way better. But he is still a top tier character and is definitely up there on the A+ rank as really high. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Marth. Marth is my freaking favorite character this patch. Marth got insane buffs. He went from literally the top of B tier all the way up to an A+ character. I know a lot of people will be like, you're giving Marth too much credit. You're doing Marth too much credit, because Marth still has, a gimpable recovery. His combo game is insane. His disadvantage is really bad because he's a fast faller. But it's they made this man so good. They made Tipper a hell of a lot more easy to do. They added a hitbox to his arm, which is insane. His spike is 3 times better. I mean, everything this man sucked at before, he just excels at it now. He's so much better. Plus, they made the reverse dolphin slash hit at an amazing angle. I mean, it knocks people off stage and you go so low. Bro, it's so good. Marth is an amazing character to pick up this patch. I could definitely see next patch them nerfing him, maybe even back to what he was originally. But this patch, Marth has gotten so much love. He's definitely the biggest buffed character out of the entire patch, and is definitely worth picking up and playing now. I definitely think he might, even as the meta evolves, if the character continues to be the way he is, might even move to be an S tier character. Like he's on his way up there, but he still does obviously suck at things that I stated earlier. But I mean, this man's combo game, the fact that they made landing Tipper easier, an even better spike than he had before. I mean, he has really good range. I mean, he's fast. I mean, this man, he's just super good right now, and I'm super happy with what they did with the character, and I'm super glad that, you know, he's up here now with the big boys. But I definitely don't think that he beats out the 3 characters that are above him. In the slightest, which we're gonna go ahead and move on and start talking about, which is gonna be Link. He does not beat Link. Link has way better kill options in general. Like Link he just has way better kill options like than this man. He has a lot more he could do and just like less. Also with having just a crazy amount of projectiles, whether it be his side B, his neutral B, his down B. I mean, just all of that. Like it's really crazy. And then also having a really good recovery helps this man with also a decent weight. Also having a chain grab. Well, yet again, if you whiff it, it sucks. But you know, you can hit people and you can grab people from so far. Well, Marth has to be really close to people to get a grab. So you know, Link definitely is a high tier character. Is definitely up there with the 3 best in A+. And yeah, it's definitely worth it. So after that, we're going to talk about Naruto. Naruto, insane combo game, an amazing projectile. I mean, this man has shadow clones for days. I mean, this man be hitting you with stuff you don't even know. I mean, top tier players play Naruto like crazy. I mean, this man could just like in seconds take a stock. It's insane what this character can do. Where he sucks at is very simple. Yet again, once this man gets hit, he just keeps getting hit. He just keeps getting hit. He just keeps getting hit because yet again, hit stun in this game, insane, as well as also, you know, Naruto not being, you know, the greatest when it comes to air mobility. It's just like, But then after that, it's just his recovery. I mean, his recovery is really bad. It's really good to use a neutral on the ground, to have that shadow clone there, to like limit people and how and kind of force them to jump, as well as do other options. But it's like when you actually try to use it when you're actually recovering, you have like no vertical height on it whatsoever. And it doesn't always grab the ledge how you intend it to, depending on the stage you're on. So yeah, it's like, it's really just, that's the only thing that's holding him back from Ichigo, because in my personal opinion, I believe Naruto has a better projectile than Ichigo, but when it comes down to everything else, Ichigo is slightly better. Ichigo essentially is just better Marth. He's just Marth with a projectile with way more range, is extremely fast and extremely hard to punish. And in this patch, he actually got a nerf with his dash attack, which is still one of his best moves, where it's a worse move on shield. But the problem with that is honestly landing that dash attack and like trying to like shield against that dash attack is still extremely hard because he vanishes. He has one of the best air dodges in the game, and it's a simple recovery. And with his dash attack, yet again, it's the same problem with his air dodge, is he vanishes, and it's super hard to see unless you have a really good read on where, you know, the reach of his dash attack goes to. So while yet again he did receive a nerf, he is still definitely one of the best characters in the game. I remember people were trying to say he was an S tier character, or that he's like one of the best characters in the game, and I do believe that he is the top of A+ tier because I think he beats out every single character underneath him. But when it actually comes to these characters above him, they excel so much better. I feel like Ichigo, as well as a lot of other people feel this as well, especially in the community, Ichigo is like the peak for characters. It's like Ichigo in himself isn't a top tier character, but anybody who can beat Ichigo is a top tier character, and that's essentially how Ichigo has been set up in this game. But still, an amazing character, definitely worth picking up. Is definitely, out of all the anime characters in this game, is the best character to pick up if you are going to pick up anybody, and you know, is still a pretty insane character. So after that, we are going to be moving on to the highest of the high, the holy of the whole, the place where no people have gone before. We are going to be moving on to S tiers. Now, I want to make something clear about S tier characters. S tier characters excel at this game so much better than every other character. I believe A+ characters, as well as probably the higher end of the A rank characters, can easily keep up with these characters, but I do feel like they lose the matchup against these S tier characters really hard, and I feel like any mid-tier characters to D-tier characters, the only way you're winning against these S tier characters is if you're a really good player. Like, you have to be a really good player to beat these S tier characters, because they're just that good when it comes to being characters. So, bam, up on screen, you guys are going to be seeing the S tier characters. We're going to go ahead here and start out with Metaknight. Now, Metaknight is kind of crazy because he got nerfed a lot. He's probably the character right underneath DK to get nerfed. the most this patch. I mean, this character just doesn't have what he has. He doesn't have dare up air anymore. He doesn't have as great of recovery, aerial, sorry, not recovery, aerial options as he had once before. Like, just, he got nerfed. And that's why you could definitely look at the older tier list, and I believe in the older tier list he was like the 3rd best character in the game at the time, and now I think he's at the bottom of S tier. I still think he is an amazing character. I definitely think even with the nerfs, he still excels over Ichigo, and he still excels over every other character in the game. He just can't do what he once did. He's not as impressive, but he is still an S tier character, and it's definitely worth picking up. Yet again, probably the only problem with him is the fact that he is a light character, because he is Metaknight, so he dies extremely early. But other than that, recovery options, you have recovery options for days. I mean, he can still do combos and everything else. It's just he doesn't have as good aerials, as well as he also just doesn't have as good of a dare as he once had. And then with grabs getting nerfed, it's like, yikers. But other than that, really solid character with Meta Knight. Moving on, after that, we're going to be having Fox. Fox is the character probably, I would say, underneath Marth, who got buffed the most this patch. Honestly, the only thing that really got buffed on him, unfortunately, really was his down air. They made it way more consistent to hit all of them, which, you weren't really using down air too much before anyway, so that doesn't really matter as much, but it is, hey, a buff is a buff, okay? Fox isn't the worst freaking character in S tier anymore. That's all that matters. I love playing Fox. He's amazing. His combo game is one of the best in the game. Probably the only 2 characters that beat him out are the 2 top tier characters when it comes to combos. I mean, this man got combos for days, an amazing projectile. I mean, he kills off of up smash, up air, F smash, down smash at ledge. Like, this man he has kill options for days. He's fast, he's medium in weight, has a really solid recovery, even though it is a little bit gimpable with some of the A+ characters, like I said before, but overall is still an amazingly good character, and it's definitely worth it, bro. Just definitely worth it. And then after that, we have the top 3 characters. Now, this was the hardest thing in the world for me to do. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how I feel about this still. I want to talk about all 3 of these characters kind of together, but a lot separately, because these characters here are the things that are going to make a difference in between whether or not you want to play the best character in the game or not. Because to be honest, I believe all 3 of these characters can be switched out for the best character in the game. I think Falco was the one who was changed the most this patch and definitely has some stuff going against him. But other than that, it's like, okay, you want to focus on Krystal. Okay, so you want to focus on Krystal. And against Sheik and Falco, I feel like they could beat her. You want to focus on Falco, I feel like Krystal and Sheik could beat him. And you want to focus on Sheik, I feel like Falco or Krystal could beat him. That's how even this matchup is. But where they excel at and why I put them in this order is mostly because Krystal, while having an amazing combo game, it excels way higher than anyone else, really good weight, multiple projectiles, and super easy edge guarding. Recovery kind of is not this character's strong suit. Really, and I mean really kind of sucks at it. Like, similar problem to Naruto. And also the fact that if you want to get kills a lot earlier, you are going to have to land Tipper, essentially, on this character. And since, Marth just got buffed with his Tipper, and they made it a super, a really big range for you to get Tipper, Krystal doesn't really have that. So you are still going to have to get kills a lot earlier if you want to get them off of aerials, or even smash attacks. Is just you're gonna have to have really good spacing, which is why I think it takes a little bit more skill to be good at compared to Falco and Sheik, who are above her. Moving on to Falco didn't lose anything he had from the previous patch. If you guys actually saw the previous patch, I put Falco as the number 1 character in the game, and the whole reason I put Falco as the number 1 character in the game is because Falco's combo game excels. I mean, it's amazing. His recovery is decently bad, but also not the worst in the game. He has mix-up options. You could spike with your side B. His down air before was freaking insane. It would literally just tap you when you die. And that's the main problem with Falco. Falco is amazing at everything, has a good projectile, and he would just tap you and you would die. That was the thing why I wanted to say, like, Falco is one of the best characters in the game. Like, he was easily, I think, the best character in the game at the time. Now, he's been nerfed to be a little more fair, especially with his down air nerf. I still feel like he was the character who got nerfed the least out of all these nerfs, but all they did was make you have to work more for down air now, which is better overall. It's better for the character. You're gonna actually have to think now. You're gonna have to be a little bit more careful. Especially with his recovery. Is while I said it's not the worst in the game, it's definitely not the best. The best. It's still something you can get, but still something you can work against. So he's gonna have to do that. But he other than his down air really, as well as also grab. Nothing on Falco really got nerfed besides that. But down air was his like main kill option because you would just throw somebody on stage and then you down air, and the hitbox was huge, so you just literally kill them off of just like tapping them. Now you do have to work a little bit more for it. So he's more of a fair S tier character, which is why I do think Sheik slightly outdoes him. But like I said, you could switch these three characters around because at one point I was saying Krystal was the best, then I was saying Sheik's the best and Falco's the best. You could switch these three characters around, but definitely Falco now is going to have to work a little bit harder to be able to actually do really well. And then we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, as well as a lot of other people in the community, are definitely going to say Sheik is the best character. This patch, she did get nerfed. Her airspeed and run speed, as well as I believe walk speed, were all nerfed, as well as grab, obviously, because grabs for this patch got nerfed altogether. And for some people they're like, wow, Sheik's going down, Sheik's not going to be there, Sheik's not going to be able to do blah blah blah. But they did buff needles. They buffed needles on Sheik, which was one of the best and easiest to use projectiles in the game, because of just how fast they came out. They have really good range, and they're also multi-hit moves, so you can set up for combos. It's like, wow, dude, like just like I don't know, because it's like what was taken away from Sheik, in my opinion, wasn't something that made her worse than Falco. I feel like it does slightly make her worse than Krystal, but with Sheik's recovery being better than Krystal's, I easily think that's what makes her the top character in the game. And with Falco having to be a little more of an earnest character, I think Sheik can easily beat him out, whether it be with up smash or up air or even back air combos. I think Sheik can easily kind of, especially against like Metaknight and Fox, I think she can easily just outclass them. And then with the other two, I believe she outclasses them as well in neutral, as well as other tools. So yeah, definitely. And in my opinion, as well as most of the communities, I would say right now the best character to pick up, if you are going to pick up any character in this game, is going to be Sheik. Obviously, Sheik still takes skill, because range on Sheik, counting on the move you're using, is very lackluster. So Sheik obviously still takes skill, but once you do know that skill, once you do get those combos, once you do practice a lot with this character, is easily, I think, one of the best characters in the game. But yet again, that's kind of up to your own opinion on these three characters. I think any three of these characters could be the top in the game right now. I just think Falco's nerfs were just a little bit too much for the rest of the meta, as well as Krystal's recovery is just not as good as the other two's, especially with just different options you could use for it. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that is going to be the tier list video. This video is going to be a little bit over an hour. It's really long. I'm so sorry I talked for that long. You guys actually had to watch that. Obviously you guys could have skipped through it and you guys could have seen other things. I also want to quickly, before I go ahead and leave, is explain what I think are low tier characters, mid tier characters, and then high tier characters. I believe C and D tier are low tier characters, B tier and A tier characters are medium tier characters, and I believe A plus and S tier characters are the high tier characters of the game. Although I do believe A tier characters could potentially fit in that high tier. If you guys are looking for just generic tiers on which characters you should pick up and play, I think some of them do, some of them don't. Really counts. But yeah, this patch has been insane. It's been so much fun to do this video, as well as also just to play SSF2 in general. So hey, if you guys are really looking to see who's the best in the game, there you guys go. You can definitely see since the previous patch that a lot has changed. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Hopefully I get to see you guys all on the next one. Remember guys, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1K. It means the world to me, and I love you guys. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.